For Matera. He's in for the try.
Rappy. Fine, let's get this over with. Here's the rugby update with a healthy dose of Schadenfreude for any non-Bok fans out there. First though, the first game of the Rugby Championship's penultimate round of fixtures. The Wallabies were hosting the All Blacks in Sydney with the hopes of saying "miscusi" for their abysmal performance in Argentina. Things did not start as planned. 25 minutes in and the All Blacks were going at more than a point a minute, and another half-century thrashing was looking more likely than not. But because this was the All Blacks, they just had to show their big Aussie brothers that their recent rugby issues are so much worse than the Wallabies' recent rugby issues. Just always got a one-up. That meant the Kiwi scoring tap was tightly shut, and they only registered one more penalty for the rest of the entire game, extending their run of not scoring in the final 20 minutes of matches to 5 games in a row now. Luckily for the paying fans, the Wallabies did keep scoring. Fraser McReight came back from injury and scored the Wallabies' first try. Then he played a blinder and helped the Wallabies bag 3 more to make the game a lot tighter than expected. In the end, it was the lone 3 points that the Kiwis scored after 25 minutes that was the difference in this game. The final score of 28-31 ended up being a fair reflection of the two sides, as yet another set of replacement players looked better than those of the All Blacks. 11 o'clock at night. Do you know how hard it is for a middle-aged parent of 2 preschoolers to stay up until 11 o'clock at night? Even worse, I had just come back from a freezing cold and wet Ellis Park where the Lions were Currie Cup champions for about 10 seconds before throwing the game away in a manner so stupid everyone there who witnessed it is now dumber. It was after that I had to sit for 2 hours in the middle of the bloody night to watch the Boks get carved to pieces by the last backs coach who won anything at Leinster. Shite is how my rugby weekend went. Pure shite. Matter of fact, that's a pretty good description of the Boks' defensive efforts on Saturday night. First, Pollard and Van Staden got done for the Pumas' opening score. Our rush defense's vulnerability to a switch of direction was exploited again. Then at 21 minutes, when the Boks were down a man, the Pumas lined up an attack with so many runners and options you'd think there were 20 of them on the field. And who was defending the edge where Kirtley should have been if not for a yellow card? That's right, Mr. Pollard in his 1950s pure black boots. The writing was on the wall. Honestly, it was a good match and again showed that the Pumas are a team that get better and better as the tournament goes on. That's how they always make World Cup semi-finals. Time together turns them into a global superpower. For the Boks, this is obviously a failure. That top ranking is now back in the hands of the lighter green shade, and we get to spend the week talking about how it was all Marnie's, or the defensive system, or black 1950s rugby boots' fault. I just have to remind myself that this is all just rugby, and it's fun! Super fun! The end score of 29-28 has now set the final game at Bombela up as a nice title decider. The Pumas just have to win by a bonus point while denying the Boks any bonus points of their own. Easy peasy. Even easier and peasier is the Wallabies' task in Wellington. The All Blacks can't win anything there, so it should be a split series between the two teams, right? The All Blacks aren't gonna revert back to their whole revenge stereotype, right? It's probably the second one. Speaking of second, coming second still hurts. It was confirmed to me again as I got to watch the Lions lose yet another final. It was the Currie Cup this time. After bawling out all season, it was their right to host the Sharks from Durban in a tight but exciting final. The Lions fought hard to take a late lead and then earn a final penalty which they kicked to touch, and then a final line-out that they won, and then a final maul that advanced forward even though the clock was dead, and then a final turnover for the Sharks, and then a final penalty to the Sharks, and then a final kick to win it from Jordan Hendrickse, a guy who still played for the fucking Lions 4 months ago. Forget what I said earlier, I fucking hate rugby. Luckily, that was the end of the longest season I can remember. Into the cupboard goes the jersey, and I can finally have my weekends back. Maybe I'll do some gardening or play with my kids. I can make love to my wife. Rise and shine, you rugby dickheads. The holiday's over. The IRC and the English Premiership already started this past weekend, and the top 14 is already 3 weeks deep. I can't wait to dive into another season of action and drama. More rugby. Just watch rugby. More rugby. Rise and grind. We will do never stop on grinding. Watch rugby. You'll never see your wife again. To catch you up, Toulouse and Bordeaux look like the early leaders in the top 14. Bath got some revenge on Northampton for their final loss last year in the first round of the English Premiership, and it looks like it's all downhill from here for Cardiff, who topped the log after the first round of the IRC. I cannot wait for 10 months to decide who the new champions of all these competitions are. Yay. You're going to have to see the cable, the mic keeps falling off. And what about the news? I bet there's lots, never ends. Some transfer rumors that both Mapimpi and Oxenchair might be looking to France when their Sharks contracts expire at the end of this season. Mapimpi is a long shot for a move to La Rochelle just before retirement. He's probably not in the plans for the World Cup in 2027, so this will pad his bank account nicely and he should be available for plenty of games. If it all happens. Oxenchair still has plenty of time left in his Bok jersey, and he is currently the best loosehead in the world. I said it. It would take a brave French club to sign him for a no doubt massive amount of money, only to see him playing for the Boks most of the year. Will French club owners learn from the whole Kolisi and Etzebeth contract thing, where they were unavailable for most of the season because they were either injured or playing for the Springboks? Time will tell. And finally, the traditional Springbok team announcement on a Tuesday. A bit later than 12 this time because it's Heritage Day here and everyone was probably still braaiing. But let's have a look what we got. Okay, first, the front row is Oxenchair, Bongi Mbanambi and Frans Malherbe. You heard what I said about Ox, so that all sounds very good, and Bongi has been playing very well. Next, we've got Eben Etzebeth, who will now become the most capped Springbok when he runs out on Saturday, and Ruan Nokia, who has been hitting rucks like crazy and winning lineouts actually more than anyone else in the competition. So good second row thing there. Next, Siya Kolisi at 6 as captain, Pieter Steph du Toit and Jasper Wiese. All of them now have nice rest, except Jasper, he had his rest earlier. And I think that is basically our best loose forward trio we can put out on the park right now. I'm glad with that stuff. Then we have Jaden Hendrikse, who's been good, and Mani Lebok. Do you hear the country groaning? I did as well. But they are going to give him another chance. He only played 30 minutes last week, and you can't blame the whole loss just on him missing that kick, even though it would really feel nice to do it. It's just a simple way, black and white thing to say, no him. But he'll get another chance behind a very good pack. Then we have Damien de Allende and Jesse Kriel as the center pairing. These boys have been playing so well this year, and hopefully it'll make our defense a little more watertight this coming weekend. It's weird. It's like the Argentines could just step back out of a tackle, the rush would go past them, and then they were through. Hopefully they'll fix that this weekend. Then the back three, Kurtley Arendse, Cheslin Colby, and Apalele Fassi. Great under the high ball, great defenders, and fast to turn around to chase back all those super quick Argentines. Hopefully none of them get yellow cards, because it seems like our defensive system just goes to shit when they aren't there. Then, on the bench, who do we have? Malcolm Marx, Gerard Steenekamp and Vincent Koch. Very good replacement front row. And hopefully Marx can hit his jumpers this time. Aurich Louw, Kwagga Smith, they are the other two forwards on the bench. Very good. Aurich Louw has been so good this season, and he's a very able replacement to Jasper Wiese. And Kwagga Smith is Kwagga Smith. We all know what he does. Just comes on and causes havoc. And then we have the final three backs on the bench, a 5-3 split. How novel. Kobus Reinach, he's back. He played pretty well last week, but he did look pretty knackered after 50 or so minutes. I can't remember when he was replaced. Then Andre Pollard, who also looked super tired. I don't know if he could have stayed on to play 12. When Kurtley was off, they were just working him in the backfield, and he just looked so tired. And then Lucanio Am, who I hope will be playing 13. The 12 thing was okay, but he just doesn't draw that many defenders to him. I'd like to see him back where he belongs. And that's the team. Good, amazing, I love it. But I'm like super duper scared of the Pumas now. Their attack is just perfect for cutting our rush defense to pieces. Hopefully, without Marcus Kremer, they're not as scary this coming weekend, and hopefully, we can finally win that Rugby Championship. And that is the end of the first rugby update of this season. I think. What is time anymore? I will see you all next week to talk about more rugby. Bye. I miss my wife.